Swamiji, you are on mute.
Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu सह वीर्यंकरवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 देवैरत्रापि विचिकित्सितं पुरा
देवैरत्रापि विचिकित्सितं पुरा
न हि सुविज्ञेयमणुरेष धर्मः
न
नित्यं च
धर्मः
अन्यं वरं नचिकेतो वृणीष्व
अन्यं वरं नचिकेतो वृणीष्व
कामो परोत्सीरति मासु जैनम्
कामोत्परासीरतिमाशु जैनम्
अत्र एतत् विषये दैवैः अपि विचिकित्सितम् किमर्थम् एष धर्मः अणुः न सुविज्ञेयम् not easily cannot be easily known हे नचिकेतः अन्यं वरं वृणीष्व
अन्यं वरं वृणीष्व
मा उपरोत्सीः just let go of me ma here ma is mam prati mam yenam varam atisruja so it's all mixed up in the verse it says ati mas jainam yenam varam atisruja sujjatu give up drop this varam don't keep bugging me with this varam not easy to understand even for devatas it is not easy to understand Bashyam देवैरपि अत्र एतस्मिन् वस्तुनि what vastu that vishaya that he is wanting to know etasmin vastuni devaihi api atra meaning etasmin vastuni vichikitsitam meaning samshayitam have uncertainty have doubt about this particular thing that you are now asking what happens after the death of the body that is something which is not easily known. Most of us think about it sometime and give up thinking till, like we discussed last time, some child comes and asks, what happens, Papa, after so-and-so dies? Can I talk to him again? And we have no answers. Because this is a subject which is anuhu. It is not, it's so subtle to understand. Because of the very error we make in the beginning in identifying I. Therefore, we have a problem. Therefore, even Devaha, who are supposed to be superior beings, more knowledgeable, more powerful than Manushya, even they have a problem. They also don't know. They are not certain. They also have doubts. Vichikitsam, vichikitsitam, samshayitam. They have samshaya. Pura. Pura means purvam. From the very beginning, they also have this problem. How do you become a deva? Deva is only an elevated being. Because in Manushya Janma, that jiva has done a certain type of punya. Predominantly certain type of punya. Therefore, gets reborn as a deva in another devaloka, where you enjoy much more than you enjoy here on the earth. Here you are always subject to that fluctuation. Sukha, sukha, dukkha, 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 sukha, sukha, sukha. This is our pattern. It is different if you go to other devalokas. There it is more consistently sukha. You remember in the second vara, Nachiketa asks that I want to know what is the method to get to Swargaloka, where there is no jara, there is no maranam, there is no dukkha, there is no pipasa, there is no hunger, which are all causes of problem for us. So these devalokas and the citizens of devaloka are better off. They are more knowledgeable, particularly in some areas, and they have more power than we do. So Samshayitam Pura, they also have this problem. They also don't know. They don't know because this knowledge is not easy to understand. Nahi suvigneyam. Vigneyam, Acharya explains, Shruttu Vigneyam Shrutamapi Prakritaihi Janaihi. Prakritaihi Janaihi is certainly a type of people who have certain beliefs. But a more general meaning is what comes naturally. What comes naturally to people? I don't know what happens after death. Very few people will either say, I know that there is something happen, or that nothing happens. There is no afterlife. There are a few people like that. But Prakritaihi means majority of humankind. That group, Janaihi, for them it is extremely difficult to understand, but they understand that they don't understand. That is their position of Prakritaihi Janaihi. By the people generally who are, because it's a natural doubt. And this is the majority. This is true of, I would say, a good 99% of the population of the world. Because to gain this knowledge is not so easy. You know, sometimes people ask, Swamiji, what happens if there are only limited number of people? How come that today we have 8.5 billion people and a few years ago we had only 6 billion people? Where did the others come from? The point is that jiva is not just a Manushya jiva. Everything is a jiva. A mosquito is a jiva. Millions of species undersea are jivas. Any living thing is a jiva. So if you look at the total jiva, it will run into several trillions. Among them, Manusha is only a very small, tiny fraction, who are the only ones who are privileged to be able to even question this Vichikitsa. That is why Bhagavan said in the Bhagavad Gita, if you remember, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. So many Janma you take in different forms. Sometimes you are a tortoise, sometimes you are a horse, sometimes you are a human being, sometimes a devata, depending upon the Papa Punya in your account. And sometimes you end up with a jiva. As a Manushya, we have probably taken already many janmas as Manushya. And between two Manushya janmas, there are so many other janmas you've taken. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. Very difficult people to find. People who understand this, who don't have doubt, who don't have vichikitsa. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. They understand that there is only one Vasudeva, one Paramatma. Samahatma Sudurlabha. That kind of Mahatma is not easy to find because there are very few of them. There are even the people who make an attempt to inquire into it are very few. And the ones who really gain the answer, aparokshataya, are even fewer. So bulk of the rest of the Manushya Janma, we can call them Prakritehi Janaihi, by the Prakriti Janaha. That's what comes naturally. I don't know. So, Shushtu Vigneyam Shrutamapi. Even when they listen to the Shastra, when somebody is explaining to them what is the nature of the self, the Atma, what is the Atma Anatma Viveka, even when a guru explains to them, how many people are able to get it? Shrutamapi, even after hearing this, Prakritahi Janahi, by these people, it is not known. There is always an element of doubt. Very interesting, you know. We study for years and we use a lot of our own strengths to understand. We have the Shraddha. Even then, there will be times when one doesn't have that certainty. Out of the few hundred people who spend years studying with a guru, not everybody understands. Shrutamapi Shushtu Vigneyam Na. They don't really understand. Therefore, Yamadharmaraja is trying to dissuade Nachiketa from pursuing this line of inquiry. He looks at Nachiketa and says, young boy, although very smart, very intelligent, probably knows a lot, but still a young boy. Sometimes, you get this question in the mind, how come people like Shankaracharya, who have not had in this Janma or in that Janma, too many interactions with the world? We gain a lot because we were born with certain prarabdha, with certain inclination, which comes from previous actions. But there's a lot of effort that was, like in anything else. Whether you're a sportsman or a musician, something is there naturally. I mean, you see some of these programs on Indian Idol, some of the small kids, they come and perform, my God. You stunned. You say, how did they learn so much? How did they know so much? Where did they get the skills from? Certainly, to begin with, there is nature. That's what the whole debate about nature versus nurture. They have some blessing. Blessing means what? That they've done something before. And then some of them continue to work at it. They are nurtured. For every successful person in any field, sports, music, whatever field you take, sciences, maths, for every successful person, there are perhaps many others who are equally gifted. But that gift is not nurtured. Any field. So, the people like Shankaracharya are born with it because they've already done something when they come into this Janma, ready for this knowledge, completely prepared. Whereas for most of us, we go through the whole cycle. We start with imagining, depending upon the family, a concept of God and a concept of my God. And then a concept of universal God. Because you interact more with the world, you start beginning to understand that there's more to what you thought you knew. That you say there are many gods. All of us have gone through this self-examination. There are so many different gods because different people follow different gods. Then you mature with more understanding, more interaction, that there's only one God. Different forms, different symbolisms. Till you finally come to the state where Vasudeva Sarvamiti, you understand. There is only God, nothing else. That is the cycle we go through, because that at each point, our interaction with the world gives us more feedback. We think more. That is why you find most people will go to Vedanta to really pursue their inquiry very late in life. That's why many people tell you this is for retired people only. Not true. It depends upon what your background has been and how you have nurtured that what you came with. There are vasanas, which are also a result of one's own action. Certain tendencies, certain propensities. That has to be progressed further. Generally, what happens is even when somebody has that inclination to inquire, after some failures, we say it's difficult to find out. Nachiketa is probably one of those. He didn't give up. Let me enjoy what I have. Let me do the best I can for myself and my family. Very few then keep at it, because this is not easy. Suvijñeyam, na suvijñeyam. Because anuhu. Yataha anuhu.
Yataha anuhu.
Sukshmaha. Anuhu. Technically, the meaning is, or at least literally, the meaning is atom, smallest particle. But anuhu also means sukshmataram. Sukshma, sukshmataram. So subtle. It's not like learning a game or learning about biology or something. It's learning about the reality of I. Oh, it's very, very, very subtle. mind doesn't go that direction at all. Even when we study, our study that is very objective, object-oriented. We even have a language called OOL. All these software fellows will know. Object-oriented language in computer. Our whole thinking is object-oriented. I look at everything as an object. How am I going to know the truth of I? Anuhu. Yeshaha
एकः
atmakyah dharmaha.
आत्माख्यः धर्मः
This thing called Atma, Dharma is also Atma only. The self, I, Sukshma, doesn't easily fit into anything that we think we know. It is not something to be compartmentalized. We cannot say this is like that. This is like understanding, integral calculus. No, it's like nothing that you can think of. There is no comparison. The learning process is not the same. What you're trying to learn about is not the same. Completely different. Yeshaha dharmaha, called Atma, Atmakhyaha, Anuhu. Cannot be easily understood. Ataha anyam
अतः अन्यम्
asandigdha phalam
असंदिग्धः फलम्
varam nachiketa vrinishva.
वरं नचिकेतः वृणीष्व.
This is what he is trying to say. Therefore, hey Nachiketa, ask for something where the phala is clear. Where you know what you're going to get. You don't even know what this is. The human mind does not even get into thinking of this as because we think of it as an object which is absolutely obviously false. Therefore, hey Nachiketa, ataha anyam varam vrinishva. Ask for something else. What kind of thing? Ask for something which is asigdigdha phalam, asindigdha phalam. That which is clear, which is sure. Now you give a lot of examples later. For us, what is it that is very clear? Any object. Even subtle things like fame. You want to get a lot of fame. It's not a physical object, but still an object. You can ask for that. That I should be the most famous person. I should be the goat of my field. That can be done. I can grant you that. But you're asking for something where so much uncertainty is attached to it. Because it is so very difficult to understand. Yes, he gives a very nice example. Please let go of this. Don't keep bugging me. Mom, there are two ma's here. You see that? Ma uparotsihi in the text itself. One ma is, however, but. The second ma is mom. Mom, ma uparotsihi. Don't become insistent. Don't compel me. Don't force me that I should teach you this. It is not easy to either to teach or to understand. Mom. So Shankaracharya explained the first ma is mom. Ennai. मुझे. माम मा उपरोत्सीहि. Don't force me. उपरोधम मा कार्षीहि.
उपरोधं मा काशीः.
उपरोधम रुद्धातु. Uparodam ma karshihi. Don't force things which are not easy. Uparodam ma karshihi. Don't be like a lender. You know, if you have borrowed money, the first thing the bank will do is take collateral. They will not give you money without collateral. And they will make sure that you give back the money with interest. They will keep after you. And if you don't return the money, they will send their what do they call them? Something. Muscle men. Come and take away your car. Because you borrowed money against that. Sometimes it can get a little dirty. Don't be like that. So insistent. He gives an example. He says, Adharmanam
अधर्मणम्
iva uttamarnaha.
इव उत्तमर्णः.
Adharmanam is, Rinam is the basic word. Rinam is loan, borrowing. So, Adharmanam is the borrower. I don't know how to think. Adhaha is actually meaning lower. I suppose when you take something from you, you're lower and somebody gives you from above. Uttama. So, Adharmanaha. You take a loan, you're the borrower. Adharmana iva uttamarnaha. The creditor, he will keep at it. He is not going to give up. Don't be like that. Uparodham ma karshihi. How? Adharmanam iva uttamarnaha. Don't be after my blood for this like a creditor. कब आप दोगे? कब दोगे? कब दोगे? Keep at it. Every other day comes to house and say, where is my money? Don't be like that. Adharmanam iva uttamarnaha. How the creditor pressurizes the borrower. Pressurize me. Then atisthruja. Yenam atisthruja. Yenam means this varam that you're asking for. Yenam varam atisthruja. Ati is there earlier and sruja is later, but you have to read them together. Atisthruja. Sruj dhatu. This varam, please give up. Don't keep at it. Atisthruja bimuncha. Yenam varam bimuncha. Drop it. Ma, again, the uses the word ma is here also mam. Mam prati. This varam that you're asking me, I have committed to give you a varam, third varam. But this varam, please drop. Don't keep pressurizing me. This is what our Dharmaraja is telling. It is not easy to understand. You remember in Kathopanishad, there's a story of how Varuna, Vayu and Agni don't understand this reality, this tattvam, after they've had a victory over the asuras. But they think they are goat's whiskers or cat's whiskers, cat's whiskers. So they are in their state of enjoying their victory. And Yati comes. They don't know what it is because they don't know the truth. They're all devatas, Agni and Vayu and even Indra. Then finally, Uma teaches them. Uma is Upanishads only. Jnanam. Like that, many places you will find that devatas also don't know. They are also confused. In Chandogya Upanishad also, many of these devatas go to a teacher to find out because they don't know. Because this is not easy to know. Therefore, Dharmaja tells them, and he tells them to understand how ready Nachiketa is to understand. He knows that Nachiketa is very well informed, very well read. But does he have the capability to understand this? Is he ready for this? So he's starting to test. In fact, next few verses, he's going to continuously test him by tempting him. Like I said, no, most of us, even when we get the doubt in the mind and we make an effort to understand, finally, most people give up and they simply say, okay, I'm getting a lot of wealth and I'm getting a lot of good things happening. Let me stay with this. This we will see later. Is Nachiketa going to take that route? How does Nachiketa react to this? We read the next verse. Devairatrapi vichikitsitam kila.
देवैरत्रापि विचिकित्सितं किल
Tvam chamrityo yanna suvigneyamatha.
Annamrityo
यन्न
yannasyeyamat
सुविज्ञेयमात्थ
Bhakta chasya tadriganyo na labhyah.
वक्ताचास्य त्वादृगण्यो न लभ्यः
Nanyo varastulya etasya kashchit.
Nanyo
नान्यो
varastulya
वरस्तुल्य
etasya
एतस्य
kachchit
कश्चित्
Very clear. Anyah varaha varam etasya tulyaha na kashchit. There is no other varam which is anywhere close to this that I am asking for. And you are asking me to drop it. Na anyah varastulyaha etasya kashchit. Etasya tulyaha varaha anyah nasti. Kashchit nasti. Because you yourself said no. Mrityu, hey Mrityu, devaihi api atra vichikitsitam kila. Kila is a very interesting word. Indeed, emphatic. You yourself said no, even devas don't know. So how wonderful this knowledge must be. What result this knowledge must have. Hey Mrityu, devaihi api atra vichikitsitam kila. You said no. Yat tvam cha na suvignyayam attha. You said attha. Vakshi. Brudatu. You said no. That this yat tvam cha na suvignyayam. Not easy to understand. Why should I give up? Here is an opportunity for me to be with somebody who devata who knows. Why should I give up? Yat tvam cha na suvignyayam atha. You said it's not easy to understand. Therefore, I want to understand. He turns Yamadharma's words on himself. You said, Devai yatra na vichikitsam kila. And hey, Yamadharma Raja, about this question of death and what happens after death, who is better equipped than you? You are the Lord of Mrityu. Hey Mrityu. Asya, relating to this, Twadrik Vakta cha na anyaha na labhyaha. How can you find another teacher who can talk about this death and after death than you? You are the Lord of death. Vakta cha asya twadrik anyaha na labhyaha. There is no better teacher of the subject than you. Why am I going to give up this opportunity? Therefore, no other vara can be equivalent to this. Look at this young boy, already has so much maturity, and he knows that there will be some more discussion on this. That anything else can only be temporary. Anything that you can gain can only be temporary. There is only one thing which is not temporary, which is nitya, and that is this knowledge of the self, of what happens to the I, what is the reality of I which survives the body. Therefore, na anyaha varaha tulyaha etasya kaschit. No other vara can be as good as this. You know, there is a very beautiful thing in this to understand. When you have to ask somebody for something, when you have an opportunity to ask somebody for something, what are you going to ask? Depending upon what that person is and what capacity that person has, that individual has, you neither want to ask less than what he can give, nor more than what he can give. You want building permission. You go to the executive engineer who has authority to give that permission. What are you going to ask for him? Ask of him. You're not going to ask him, give me $1 million loan also. You're not capable. You ask what he's capable of, not less, not more. You're not going to ask him, just, can you give me a photocopy of this document? You ask him what he can give. Anything less, you're wasting that opportunity. Anything more, you cannot get. Here is Nachiketa in front of Yamadharma Raja through various circumstances. So he's going to ask him, what he's going to ask him? About death, about what happens post-death. Very interesting thing to understand how he chooses his vara. Read the Bashyam. Deveratrapi
Deveratrapi
Devaihi atra api. Devairatrapi. The same as the previous verse. There also Devairapi. Atra comes later. Devairapi atra here. Devairatrapi. Devaihi atra api. Again, Acharya gives the same meaning. Etasmin vastuni. What is the vastu? Atma tattvam. the knowledge of the self. Devaihi atrapi etasmin vastuni vichikitsitam kila. Kila is a word which emphasizes the previous word. Vichikitsitam kila. There is doubt now even for devas. And we have heard you say that. Previous mantra. Iti bhavata eva naha shrutam.
इति
इति भवत एव नः श्रुतम्
Yeah.
I heard you say that. He uses the plural be, naha. He doesn't say I have heard you. Bhavataha evam eva naha shrutam. We have heard you only. Tvam cha mrityo yat
मृत्यो यत्
Samrityo Jave
yasmat na suvigneyam
यस्मात्
यस्मात्
ये
यस्विज्ञेयम्
atma tattvam. That's
आत्मतत्त्वम्
tattvam, the reality of the self. Atha kathayasi
आत्थ
Atha Kathayasi
कथयसि
ataha
अतः
अतः
panditaihi
पण्डितैः
upadeshaniyatvat
उपदेशनीयत्वात्
देशनीयत्वात्
vakta cha asya dharmasya
वक्ता च अस्य धर्मस्य
धर्मस्य
vadruk tatvulya
स्वादृक्तत्व
स्वादृक्ततुल्य
anyah panditah cha
अन्यः पण्डितः च
na labhyah
न लभ्यः
anvishyamanah api.
अनिविश्यमाणामपि
You heard from you yourself saying devatas also are not sure of this knowledge. Tvam cha mrityo yat yasmat na suvigneyam. You said this, you yourself, hey Mrityo, said it is not easy to understand. What is not easy to understand? Atma tattvam. Tvam atha. You said katayasi. Therefore, other than you, how can I find a teacher who understands and who can teach me? Atah panditaihi upadeshaniyatvat avadeniyatvat. Other panditas, there are many panditas in the earth. You can tell me, okay, you go home. Anyway, you've taken permission to go home and ask one of those panditas. They can't teach me. They don't know. There are very few people who know who can teach me the subject. So, upadeshaniyatvat, because they don't know, asya vakta, asya dharmasya, this knowledge about Atma, vakta cha padrik tatulyam. Like you, I can't find another. Anyaha panditah cha na labhya. I can't find another. Here's an opportunity. I have to ask the right person the right boon. Who else can I ask about this? How many people have the opportunity to stand in front of Dharmaraja, Yamadharmaraja, and ask for it? I am standing right in front of you. Twadrik tatulya anya panditah cha na labhyah. I can't find. Whatever effort I make to find, I can't find. Now that I've got it this in my head, and I have a teacher in front of me who can teach me, who is the best to teach me this, why are you asking me to give it up? You can see that I'm ready. You will see in the next few mantras how ready he is. Anyah panditah na labhyah. Acharya adds, Anvishyamanaha api. Even if I search for them. You tell me, if you take some other boon, Anyam Varam Brinishva. Okay, I take some other boon, then you send me back as per my first boon that you given me. And then I go looking for somebody to give me this knowledge. I can't find anybody. Why should I give it up? Anvishyamanaha api anyah pandita na labhyah. Why is that? This much I understand, hey Mrityu, that this question I'm asking you, this knowledge I'm seeking from you, who are the best to give me this knowledge, is moksha jnanam. Wow. How did he know that? Because he has been in the company of Panditas. Obviously, in his home, he's had great exposure, which he has shown in earlier conversations also. That this is Nishreyasa Prapti Hetuhu. This varam that I'm asking you is the only Nishreyasa. Nishreyasa is moksha. Moksha Prapti Hetuhu is the way to gain moksha. Anything else cannot even compare with this. This is the highest knowledge, moksha jnanam. I have a teacher in front of me who's given me a varam saying that you ask for whatever you want. Why am I going to back off? Because I can't find another teacher. Ayam tu varaha nishreyasa prapti hetuhu. It is the way, it is the reason, it's the cause of nishreyasa prapti, moksha prapti. Therefore, hey Dharmaraja, ataha na anyaha varaha tulyaha. There is no other vara can come close to this. There is no equivalent vara. He is going to tempt him with a lot of other things which normally human beings would be seeking, would be wanting. All of which Nachiketa will reject. He is clear what I am looking for. No, this is the interesting thing. When you pray, you can either pray with no sankalpa. Every day you pray in front of the altar. Some prayers you say, some mantras you chant. No sankalpa. You do Sandhya Vandanam, no sankalpa. What will that do? What is the phala that will produce? Punya phala. Eventually, that punya phala will either become Atma Shuddhi Hetu or in some form Sukha Hetu. But you can ask for something. When we do puja here every day, we teach the children to pray. There is a prayer for Lord Ganesha called Sankata Nashana Stotram. Many of you probably know that. We encourage the children to say the Stotra, but first make a sankalpa of what they want. And we encourage them to talk about or think about what they really want. Do well in school. That my parents should be happy. That I should do well, so well in school that I can go on to get very high, much higher studies. Whatever it is that they want. That my friend is unwell. Let him please be cured. So we encourage them to think about not only themselves, but even to the extent of saying there are so many people suffering in the world due to wars, due to fires in California, whatever. Be encouraged not to think about all of that. But when we, at our level, ask for a prayer, what should we ask? If we do make a sankalpa, if you do create this situation where you ask for something, what should you ask for? Beautifully outlined by Nachiketa. Because ayam tu varaha nishreyasa prapti hetuhu. Ataha
अतः
na anyaha varaha tulyaha
न
न
अन्य
अन्यः
वरः
यः वरः
वरतुल्यः
तुल्यः
sadrushosti etasya kaschitapi.
सदृशोऽस्ति
सदृशोऽस्य एतस्य
कश्चित्
कश्चिदपि
This is the only vara which is going to give you shreyas. Going to make moksha. No other vara is going to give me moksha. They can give me artha, they can give me kama, they may even give me a certain level of dharma punya. This is the only one that will give moksha. This much I have understood from whatever I have learned so far. Therefore, there is nothing else which is equivalent to that. It's like saying, I love this example of numbers. Whatever it is that you have, so take it into a single number. I have 100,000. I can pray for 1,000,000 of whatever it is that you're asking for. But you can also pray, let me understand infinity. Because 100,000 becoming 1,000,000 doesn't stop you from saying, now I want a trillion. I want a zillion. There's no end to that. What do you pray for? What does Nachiketa ask Dharmaraja? Tell me the Atma Tattvam. Make me understand Atma Tattvam. You are the best teacher. Everything will come in automatically. Everything is included in that. It's infinity. Whatever number you can think of is already included in that. There's nothing outside that. Ataha na anyaha varaha tulyaha sadrisho asti etasya kaschit. There can never be another vara which is equal to that. There can be one infinity. You can't have infinity 1, infinity 2, infinity 3. Other varas will give me a large number, trillion, zillion, or zillion, or whatever they call it. All that is already there. Atha na anyaha varaha tulyaha sadrishaha. Like this, there's nothing. You cannot compare with anything. Etasya kaschit sadrishaha asti nasti. Because this is anitya. Everything else is limited. However large the number you think of, it is limited. It is finite. So he says, anitya phalatvat,
अनित्यफलत्वात्
anyasya sarvasya eva ityabhiprayah.
एव
Sarvasya anyasya eva anityatvat. Anitya phalatvat. Whatever you can get from any other boon I can ask for, the phala is limited. Anyasya sarvasya anitya phalatvat. Because, why do I say there's no equivalent? There cannot be an equivalent. Because every other vara that I ask, every other vara anybody can give me is limited. Anityam. It'll have a beginning, it'll have an end. This is the only thing which is a Shreyasya Prapti Hetu. ASI is what I'm looking for. Iti abhiprayah. Acharya concludes by saying this is the way we should understand what Nachiketa is asking for. And how he's so clear that any other boon cannot match this. So what happens? Yamadharmaraja is still testing him. Yamadharmaraja is not totally convinced of the readiness of Nachiketa for this knowledge. So he continues by offering him more and more lobha, things which are easy to understand. A bird in hand is worth two in the bush. Unknown quantities. I can give you something just now which every human being aspires to. So we will see how Yamadharmaraja is going to tempt Nachiketa and how Nachiketa reacts. We'll do that in the class tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.